Welcome to another edition of AFL Today. I'm your host, E-Money, and we are breaking down the divisional rounds of the Arena Football League on the charge to Arena Bowl 21 in New Orleans. You saw the huge upset. Columbus takes out Dallas. Can you believe it? Yes, it happened, and it's for real. We're going to cover that game, as well as San Jose shootout with Colorado. Not to mention Georgia Force taking out a black and blue, in many ways, fight against the Philadelphia Soul, and we'll see who comes out on top of that one. Of course, we'll talk about the debacle in Chicago as LA just crumbles under the pressure as Chicago comes out dominating. Lots of great games, lots of great excitement. Big show to get into. Let's go. All right, folks, here we go. Let's break down all the games. Let's start out with the shootout here. Colorado takes a trip to San Jose, and San Jose guns them down 76-67. This is what I mean by gunning down, folks. San Jose had 11 possessions. They scored 11 touchdowns. The only challenge was they had one mixed extra point. And if you're looking for a way to go into the championship game, that's the way to do it. Rowe with 5 touchdowns. Ben Nelson with 3 TDs. I mean, we're talking about just a dominating performance, and Grebe just fantastic. He does it year after year after year. Of course, with the 67-point, you wonder what happened to San Jose's defense. They showed up when it counted in the last possession. But also, let me tell you who came to play. Steve Watson, 2-point attempt blocks. That was huge, and that's what put Colorado in the hole late that they could not overcome. And let's talk about it. Dutton had all the numbers. All you stats guys, you're going to love this. Dutton was 29 of 37, 416 yards, 8 TDs. He had 100 more yards than Grebe did. But again, Colorado comes out the losers. So that's to let you know that stats do not win games. Of course, Pyatt had plenty more yards than James Rowe did. And again, Colorado did not have enough. Colorado, the first possession, they fumbled. That pretty much led the way. But they still had a chance to pull it off. But they missed those key extra points. 2 were blocked. 1 was missed. I mean, that's another possession right there. And then in the last possession, Colorado, again, San Jose didn't stop them all day, but the last possession, the San Jose defense stood up, and Phil Glover with a huge sack there caused Colorado to burn a timeout. Got them all kind of confused, and you just saw Dutton's frustration, and Colorado could not cash in when they needed to in the last minute. And that is why San Jose is moving on to the championship game and looking at, yet again, another Arena Bowl appearance. All right, let's move on to the next game. The huge upset. Columbus takes a trip to Dallas, and everyone wrote them off. Columbus wins 66-59, and they won in great fashion. First 2 quarters, it looked like it was all Dallas, typical Dallas. They had, I believe, a 2-possession lead, and they came at a halftime. And do you believe Columbus really had was the looser team out there? They really had nothing to lose. Nobody thought they should have been there in the first place. And they got 2 off-the-iron kickoffs, which turned everything around. And then the third quarter, when Dallas finally got the ball, Clint Dolezel and his crew tightened up at the worst possible time. You could tell the pressure was getting to them. Here's a team that's saying, hey, we went 15-1. This is a game we're supposed to win. Now we're behind. And they were pushing, and it was not flowing. And Dolezel comes up on 4th and goal empty. And that really was the game right there. Columbus on the other side again. This guy's a loose cannon, man. He was just out there, and he was in the zone and making these throws and just throwing up, and his guys were coming down with them. Columbus, I got to hand it to you. You took care of Dallas, and Columbus has, again, the ingredients on how you take care of Dallas. They got to Clint Dolezel. They were hitting him. They were putting him on the ground. They're getting him frustrated, and you saw what happens. He starts pressing. He misses a couple throws, or his receivers drop a few. And that was it. So Dallas goes down, and now these guys have huge, again, this is something that could destroy a franchise here. This is almost as bad as the Buffalo Bills getting to the Super Bowl winning, losing 4 times. Here's Dallas with a great team last year. They came up showing the playoffs. Now this year, 15-1, the greatest record of all arena football, and they lose in the divisional rounds with their first, again, had the bye week and still lose. That is going to be tough for Will McClay and crew to overcome, and a tough pill, of course, for Dolezel to swallow. So we're going to see how that turns out next game. Philadelphia Soul take a trip to Georgia, and this one got chippy even in the pregame warm-ups. They had to have, I think it was Jaws was out there trying to break up his crew, and they were going back and forth. Of course, Eddie Moten is the one in the middle of that, as you can imagine. But let's talk about what was going on. A typical slow start for Philadelphia. Grazi just couldn't get going. But I'll tell you what Georgia did right out. You saw it in the pregame all-access deal that ESPN brings us, which is great. Coach Plank said, let's start fast and finish strong, and that's exactly what Georgia Force did. They started fast. They got right to Graziani, started pounding him early and starting to get him to think about getting hit. His throws were off. He was not the typical Grazi that was out there. Grazi also didn't get much help from his receivers, had a couple balls he should have caught, did not catch. And on the other side of the ball, of course, the Force just rolled. And Grayson, this guy is amazing. Now I know why Georgia got rid of Matt Nagy and pulled this guy out, because he has got character. He's calm. He's cool. He's collected. This guy is a stud. And, of course, the Georgia Force defense all day long just punished Graziani. They didn't get any sacks, but Grazi was on the ground a lot and hitting that shoulder, banging him up, getting to think about things, and Grazi could just not get going. I think on the soul side of things, they need some receivers is really what it comes down to. They do not have a go-to big play receiver. They need at least one guy for sure, but possibly two. Let's talk about the last game and the most disgusting game of all. LA Avengers play, well, you could say the LA Avengers. I didn't see the LA Avengers. I don't know what team I saw. Looked like a high school, or it was even worse than Arena 2. This was pure, it was ugly is what it was. LA takes a trip to the Chicago Rush, and Chicago dominates even from the beginning. And let me tell you what happened, folks. The first play of the game, LA gets the snap, goes deep. Sonny Cumbie with a perfect touchdown pass throw. Lindsey Jackson gets it in his hands and drops it. And from then, it just unraveled. 2 plays later, Sonny throws an interception. They run it back for a touchdown. And again, that was it. Seriously, Cumbie just went downhill from there. I'll tell you, 2 of the Avenger team players actually came out to play, and that was Damon Wheeler. I got a lot of good things and bad things to say about Wheeler, but I will tell you this. Wheeler was there to play, and he was hitting. He had a huge hit for a fumble recovery at a key time. Wheeler was there to play. K.I., Kevin Ingram, I got to hand it to you, K.I., took one of the biggest shots I've ever seen in arena football, and it came back 3 or 4 plays later. This guy is amazing. I thought his career was done on that hit. Clean hit, but K.I. just took a shot. Held on the ball on 4th down. That's the other thing. K.I. came to play. Wheeler came to play, and that was about it, because everyone else just fell apart. Chicago on the other side, here's DeRazio. This guy could not even walk. If you look at the game, you watch him, you're like, what's going on? He had some major back injuries. He couldn't even move, took the shot, and he was out there making plays and making things happen. And the defense for Chicago, I got to hand it to you. They just got to Sonny Cumbie. I think it was more Sonny just melting down himself, but they were in the receivers' faces. They were breaking up passes, and they just shut down LA. All right, folks, quickly, let's get into the championship matchups. Let's talk about it right now. Chicago Rush, here they are off to San Jose. And I'm telling you, folks, you are going to see what happens when a class act goes against a team like Chicago. I think Bobby Scipio is going to sink Chicago's ship. You watch, this guy's got a bad attitude. Like I talked about before, he's like a pouting 2-year-old when he doesn't get the ball, and that gets contagious on the sideline. You saw DeRazio trying to cheer him up, trying to warm him up, saying, hey, I'm going to get you the ball, don't worry, da-da-da. And you see him pouting and fussing. I don't know why Coach Ho, again, puts up with that, but he does. To get those touchdowns. But nonetheless, you look at San Jose, they got class acts like Ben Nelson, James Rowe. I mean, these guys are solid. Mark Grieve. These guys are solid character football players, and they're going to show up, and I think they are going to put the Rush in their place in San Jose, and they are just going to light them up, and they're going to take him down, and it's going to be over. And I think it's going to be a Bobby Scipio meltdown. That's my prediction, is San Jose is going to take it to New Orleans. All right, on the other side of the ball, let's take a look at Georgia Force taking on Columbus. Now, it's going to be a Matt Nagy show. Matt Nagy obviously cut by the Force last year, has some issues there. He's got a chip on his shoulder, but I think he's got too much emotion. I think what's going to happen is he's going to go in too fired up. He's going to get too frustrated early, and I think he's just going to collapse. And I think Georgia's going to take over, because I'm telling you, Grayson is first class. Again, he's character. He's strong. I think he's going to take it to him. Now, Georgia does have a disadvantage. I don't know how long Bergeron's going to be out for. So they're going to miss a spot there. But again, you know, you got CJ and you got Lee to pick it up. So I think Columbus, I think this is where their luck is going to stop. Again, they took it to Dallas. Again, they worked their way up here. They took it to KC. I don't think they have enough to beat Georgia. And again, we'll find out next week. But nonetheless, the road to Arena Bowl 21 continues. My prediction, of course, San Jose and Georgia meeting up, and that's going to be a great matchup. But we'll find out this week if those come to pass. All right, folks, that wraps up this edition of AFL Today with our divisional championship. Let's hang out for next week as we see who's going to Arena Bowl 21. I'm Evan Money. God bless everybody.